Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you could save you years of heartache. You've been blind to the truth, but not anymore. Today, I'm revealing the 6 signs that show you're not just being cheated on, you're being played. These aren't just red flags, they're psychological tricks she's using to manipulate you. Stick around, because once you see these signs, you'll never be fooled again. Now, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and like this video. And tell me, where are you watching from? I want to know which cities are waking up to the truth. Red flag number 1, the guilt trip. When she accuses you of being paranoid. Let's start with one of the most dangerous tricks she can pull on you, guilt tripping. It starts off subtle. Maybe you ask her where she was last night or why she's acting distant, and suddenly she's on the defensive, accusing you of being paranoid. You know the drill. Why don't you trust me? Or, you're always so suspicious. Now, if you're being honest, you know something's off. But here's the trick. She's flipping the script. Instead of addressing your concerns, she makes you feel like the problem. She's the one acting shady, but somehow you're the one who's overreacting. This isn't just a random outburst. It's a calculated move. The truth is, when someone feels guilty, their instinct is to project that guilt onto someone else. She knows she's hiding something, so she'll make you doubt your instincts. That's exactly what she wants. So you stop questioning her, and she can keep doing what she's doing. You'll start doubting yourself. Maybe you're imagining things. Maybe you're too sensitive. She'll use those doubts against you to manipulate the situation. And here's the kicker. The more you question her, the more defensive she becomes. Let me tell you something, and I want you to remember this. Guilt doesn't just sit quietly. It builds up and it leaks out in subtle ways. The guilt she feels over lying or hiding something will spill over into her reactions. When you confront her, she may get angry, dismissive, or even accuse you of being controlling. You'll notice her responses become more irrational, more defensive, as if you've committed some kind of crime just by asking about her day. Here's an example. You might ask her where she was last night, and she'll casually tell you she was out with friends. Fine, but when you ask for details, where did you go? Who was there? The story starts to unravel. Suddenly, she's irritated, throwing the same question back at you. Why do you keep asking? Don't you trust me? And that's when the real trick happens. She's using your questions to twist the focus away from her and make you feel like the guilty one. But here's the thing. This isn't the worst thing she's got up her sleeve. Guilt isn't her most dangerous weapon. The next red flag is even more insidious. Red flag number 2, the disappearing act. Her unexplained absences. Have you ever felt like she's suddenly just gone? Not physically, but emotionally and mentally. You'll notice these strange gaps in her day, times when she's unreachable, or when her explanations don't add up. Maybe she's working late, but when you check her schedule, there's nothing urgent on the agenda. Maybe she's spending more time with friends, but you've never met these so-called friends, and she doesn't give you any details about them. Here's the thing. These disappearances aren't random, they're intentional. She's carving out time, space where you aren't included, and it's not because she's too busy or stressed. No. This is the part where she's creating an emotional escape hatch for herself. She's gone, not just physically, but in her heart. And the most telling part, she's being vague about it, almost like she's running a secret life. Now, it's important to understand something here. A healthy relationship doesn't leave you wondering where she is. If she suddenly starts showing up late for no reason, coming home with no concrete explanation, or disappearing for hours, you have to ask yourself, why is she so hard to reach? Why does she have to hide what she's doing? One of the most common tricks women pull when they're emotionally or physically distancing themselves is giving you vague answers. I was just out with friends. I was busy at work. But when you ask her the same question later, she starts to sound defensive, even irritated. Suddenly, you feel like you're asking for too much, like you're controlling her. But really, what's happening is that she's trying to cover up where she was and who she was with. Here's where it gets really tricky. Let's say you call her and she doesn't pick up. She says she was in a meeting, or maybe she tells you she was doing something important. But you catch a glimpse of her social media, or see her out and about, smiling, posting photos with someone you don't know. It's a classic move. She's creating a life you're not a part of, and she's doing it so well that you can't even prove it. But this is just the beginning, because what comes next will leave you questioning everything about your relationship. And it's more manipulative than you think. Keep watching, because the next red flag will send chills down your spine. Red flag number 3, the phone guard, when her phone becomes her fortress. You've seen it before. Her phone is suddenly her most prized possession, and it's always glued to her hand. It used to sit around casually, face up on the counter, but now it's locked, turned face down, or she's guarding it like it's a secret vault. You've probably even noticed that she's become overly protective of it. The moment you get near, her body stiffens, her eyes flicker with anxiety, and suddenly, she has to step away. Something's off here. And let me tell you, it's not just about privacy, it's about secrecy. Here's the thing, when a woman is hiding something, she knows exactly how to use her phone as a shield. A phone can hold the truth, whether it's messages, calls, or photos, and she knows that. That's why she becomes so defensive about it. You ask her if you can take a look at her phone, maybe to check something trivial, and she immediately pulls back. Why do you need to see it? She asks, her tone sharp. What's the big deal? Let's be real. That's not just about wanting privacy. That's about hiding something. Think about it. If you truly trust each other, there's no reason to be secretive about your phone. But when a woman starts to act like it's a crime for you to even look at her screen, trust me, there's something going on. This isn't just a random quirk. This is a red flag waving right in front of you, but it's disguised as a privacy boundary she's suddenly set. Now, don't mistake it for a boundary issue. If she's flipping out every time you touch her phone, it's because she's afraid you'll find something that'll expose the truth. Maybe it's late-night texts or private messages she doesn't want you to see. Or perhaps it's the fact that she's been secretly reaching out to someone who isn't you. But here's the kicker. She's not just hiding one thing. She's likely hiding a pattern of behavior. Notice how she becomes anxious when her phone rings, or when a notification pops up, especially if you're in the room. Her whole body language shifts. She becomes hyper-aware of you, and you can almost feel the tension in the air. It's like she's afraid you'll catch her in the act. And here's where it gets even more interesting. When she's confronted about her phone, her responses will shift from defensive to dismissive. You're just being paranoid, she might say, trying to turn the tables. But let's be clear, when the focus shifts from her behavior to your supposed paranoia, you know you're being played. This is just the beginning, though. There's a whole new level to her phone behavior that will blow your mind. And the next red flag is even more revealing. Stay tuned, because what comes next is a move most men never see coming. Red flag number 4. The sudden glow-up. Her new obsession with appearance. You might have noticed it recently. She's suddenly putting in extra effort, longer in the bathroom, more attention to her hair, new clothes, makeup, the works. At first it seems innocent, right? Maybe she's just taking care of herself, trying to feel good. But then, you start to question the timing. She's buying outfits for no special occasion, spending hours getting ready for a casual trip to the store. You've got to ask, who is she getting dressed up for? Let me break this down for you. When a woman starts drastically changing her appearance without any logical reason, it's often a signal that someone else is catching her eye. When she's genuinely happy and invested in her relationship, she doesn't need to put in hours of extra effort just to go to the grocery store or meet friends for coffee. But if she's suddenly all about her looks when it doesn't make sense, something's up. This is the glow-up phase, and it's not just about self-care, it's about impressing someone, and it's not you. You might hear her claim it's about feeling good or being healthier, but think about it. When a woman goes from being low maintenance to obsessing over her appearance, it's more than just a makeover. It's a red flag that something's changing. You'll start to see the signs. She spends extra time doing her makeup, even for simple errands. She starts wearing outfits she never used to, even for casual outings. Maybe she's even started following a new beauty regimen, products, treatments, or exercises she didn't care about before. But the real kicker, it's all happening when you least expect it. If she's just doing it for herself, why does it seem like she's more interested in how others see her than how you see her? And the excuses will come pouring in. She'll claim she's just investing in herself or trying to improve her confidence. Sure, self-improvement is great, but when the timing coincides with a sudden surge of attention from someone else, the story starts to unravel. What she's really doing is preparing herself to be seen by someone new, someone who she feels is worth impressing. But it doesn't stop there. This behavior often leads to bigger changes that you'll miss if you're not paying close attention. And trust me, the next red flag is something so subtle, yet so dangerous, you'll barely believe it when it hits. Red flag number 5, the emotional distance. When she stops caring about you. Let's talk about the shift you might have noticed, one that's often hard to pin down at first. It starts small, but it's significant. She stops asking about your day, your needs, or even your feelings. It's not that she's become too busy. No, that would be easier to understand. This is something different. She's emotionally checked out, and it's the kind of thing you'll only realize when it's already too late. One of the earliest signs is when she stops being interested in the little things, the things that used to matter to her. The way your day went, the things you're struggling with, no longer seem to register. She's no longer paying attention. You might try to bring up something important to you, and she'll barely react, too distracted by her phone or the TV. You get the sense that she's present physically, but emotionally, she's miles away. This is the most painful kind of distance. It's not just a lack of affection or intimacy. It's a total emotional detachment. And it happens slowly, over time, making it easy to miss. You tell yourself she's just tired, or that you'll have time to talk later. But when later never comes, when she seems more distant with each passing day, something's off. The hard truth is, she's emotionally investing in something, or someone else. You'll also notice her responses become more short and dismissive. Where she once might have shared in your excitement, now she just shrugs. She's less engaged, less supportive, and, if you're honest with yourself, you start to feel more like a roommate than a partner. The most painful part, she won't even seem to care when you try to talk about it. If you express concern, you might get a cold, "I'm just tired," or "I don't want to talk about it right now." But let's dig deeper. Emotional distance doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It's often a sign that her attention has shifted elsewhere. She's no longer invested in you, and while you're still trying to hold things together, she's already building an emotional connection with someone outside the relationship. The fact that she's withdrawn is her way of detaching before making the next move. And when that connection is finally made, it's too late for you to turn things around. And here's the kicker. This kind of emotional withdrawal isn't just hard to notice, it's even harder to confront. But wait, this isn't the worst of it. The next red flag takes this whole situation to another level, and it's a game changer. Stay tuned. Red flag number 6. The sudden need for space. When she wants a break from you, you've probably heard it before. "I just need some space." It sounds innocent, right? Like a typical request for a little breathing room. But let me tell you, when a woman who's been emotionally present suddenly starts saying she needs a break, it's a red flag waving high in your face. This isn't about needing time to decompress. It's about her pulling away, preparing herself for something or someone else. Now, let's get real. A request for space isn't always an immediate sign of infidelity. But here's the thing. If her need for space feels sudden and out of the blue, that's the problem. This is a behavior you wouldn't expect from someone who's committed. She's not just stepping back to recharge or deal with life's stressors. She's creating emotional distance, and you're starting to feel it. And when she says she just needs to think, that's when you should really start paying attention. Think about it. Relationships are about shared lives, shared decisions. But when she starts pulling away, it's because she's already emotionally checking out. You might ask, "What's going on?" And she'll give you vague answers. "I just have a lot on my mind." The irony: she doesn't want you in that space. She wants to figure things out on her own. If she's creating physical distance, that's one thing. But when she starts pulling away emotionally, that's a bigger problem. The worst part? She might not even realize the damage she's doing. She'll insist she just needs to think, but this thinking space is often a way for her to invest in someone else without you noticing. Maybe she's already had someone to confide in, someone who's listening to her every complaint and reassuring her that she deserves more. That person becomes the emotional outlet she no longer finds in you. The real issue here? You're not even sure if you're still in the picture. She's telling you she needs time to figure things out, but the truth is, she's already figured it out. And the more you beg her to stay, the more she feels justified in pulling further away. Here's the kicker: this need for space is just the beginning of something far more destructive. She won't come out and tell you what's really happening. Instead, you'll get the runaround until you finally confront the truth. See you in the next video.